Hey guys, I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are able to listen to me properly, as well as there's no issues with our audio or the video, please do let me know. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are able to listen to me properly, as well as there's no issues with the audio or the video, please do let me know. No issues. Thank you so much, Praveen. Okay, great. So today we are going to continue from where we had left yesterday itself. I'm just opening up the live chat on my mobile phone as well, so that I'm not skipping over anything. Okay. Okay, so I've opened up the live chat on my mobile phone as well. That's great. Okay. So how was your day yesterday, everybody? Did you enjoyed what I taught you, or like did you understood everything that we learned yesterday? Yesterday was at most basics that we had covered. So we'll be continuing from right over there a bit into variables. Then we'll be starting off with data types from today. Our aim would be to complete at least integers, floats, bool, as well as start off with a bit of strings today. That would be our aim that we want to accomplish. From tomorrow onwards, we'll start off with type and type conversions, and we'll try to complete the rest of the stuff tomorrow. So let's see how it goes. I think so. It will take us 2 to 3 days to complete Python, and then we'll continue with data science, machine learning, computer vision, and all those concepts. So when we'll be starting with data science, there will be a bit of conceptual theory that we'll be dealing with for 2 days, and then we'll start off with the coding aspect of that. So please be ready for the same as well. Okay. But yeah, we'll enjoy throughout the process. We'll learn a lot. Okay. You won't face any problems where you're not able to understand anything. That is something that I will try to make sure. Okay. Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So anything else, like we have like 3 minutes more, like we'll be starting with after 3 minutes, so that we everyone is able to join us in the meanwhile. Okay. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions or something like that, please do let me know. Okay. If you guys have any questions in the meanwhile, like you want to ask me something or on any particular topic, please let me know and I will help you guys out with the same. Okay. Uh, Tech and Tech, we usually wait for the first 5 minutes so that everyone is able to join us and start along with us. So we'll wait for like 2 more minutes and then we'll start. Okay. Are we going to use OpenCV for the computer vision part? No, we are not going to use OpenCV. We are going to use convolutional neural nets. Okay. That is a subtopic of deep learning that comes under machine learning itself. Computer vision does not come into machine learning. OpenCV, sorry, not computer vision. OpenCV is basically a library that helps you deal with some of the computer vision tasks. But yeah, we are not going to use that. Yes, Harsh Kumar. In the last boot camp, we had previously talked about Python as well. But like I said, for every boot camp, we take everything from scratch. Okay, we expect our students not to know anything, and attendance on a daily basis is compulsory. So you have no issues right over there. Okay. Gopi Krishna, hi sir. This is my first session. No issues in that, Gopi Krishna. Try to attend the session on time. Okay. And complete the session and put up your attendance. Okay, that is something that I would suggest. Okay, we still have a minute, guys. Do you have any questions? Like, please don't be like shy. Please ask if you have any questions right now. We have another minute and then we'll start off with our today's class. So if you guys are having any questions, please let me know. In the meantime, as well, for those who are interested to join our community, you can also go to our Instagram page. Okay, so it's devtown.in. It's down in the description of this video as well. You can definitely join our community of students right over here. We post a lot of information here for you guys, and you can take the advantage of that. Okay, so definitely it would be a go-to thing for you. We are currently working on DevTown Bytes as well. I don't know if it's up and running or not. Let me just see DevTown Bytes. So DevTown Bytes is still coming soon for us. Okay, no issues in that. So we are currently planning on a lot many number of things. So let's see how we will be able to continue from right over here. Like I said, Aditi, if you are having like 6 days of complete live attendance, then we can take it into consideration. Okay, you don't have to say anything for that. But if you it's like 6 days of attendance and that too is not live, then we won't be able to do anything. Okay, okay, great. Is Python compulsory for this? Tech and touch? Yes, it's compulsory. That's why we are currently learning Python right now. Okay. Yeah, of course, Aditya, you can definitely continue from right over here. We are currently in the process of learning the Python language itself. Okay, so without wasting any more time, let's get started off from where we had left yesterday. Okay, so yesterday we had seen a bit into variables, and today we are going to continue from right over there itself. Okay, okay. So what if we want to change the value of a variable? Let me just open up the live chat right over here so that I'm able to see your chats as well. Okay. Um, so there are some questions in the live chat that you guys who have attended the classes yesterday itself will be able to help them out. So I believe like try to help each other out so that I'm able to focus upon the teaching aspect. Okay. So please guys just help take in touch as well as Ranjay and answer those questions in the live chat. Okay. Okay. So what if we want to change or update the value of a particular variable? For example, the variable rent is equals to 1700. We want to increase the rent to 2000. So we can directly do that. It is very easy. Right over here, we are writing rent is equals to 1700. That was the original value of rent. You want to update the value of rent, so you just have to redeclare it. Okay, you just have to reassign a new value to it. So rent is equals to 2000. Now the value that was originally present inside of rent, that is 1700, is taken out from the box, and the new value that is 2000 is put back inside the box. So that is the entire process in which you are able to change the value. Okay, change the value that is present inside the variable itself. This is process is called as overwriting the variable. So please remember, now these are technical terms. You need to remember these terms and the meaning behind these terms as well. When I'm saying that this is called as overwriting the variable, in an interview it may be asked to you that okay, what is called as overwrite, what is overwriting in Python? So you should be able to answer these questions properly. Okay, when a new value is assigned to a variable, the old one is forgotten. So this is called as overwriting the variable itself. Okay, if we are attending daily, we will get certificate and we don't have to do for attendance. Tushar Sethi, you have to attend the session live every single day. You have to fill out the attendance form live every single day for getting the certificates. I have made it very clear. Please focus upon the learning aspect of the boot camp. I cannot spend time every single day explaining these facts. Okay, so learning is much more important, guys. Again, I'm saying these certificates only contain value if and only if you have learned everything what I'm teaching right over here. Otherwise, there is no like value of these certificates. Okay, because these certificates don't prove you actually know stuff. These certificate basically prove that okay, you have attended this, so are you able to answer the questions related to Python and convolutional neural networks or not? Okay. Okay. So if we have caused some damages to the property during some crazy house party and we have to pay for them, then we can just apply these changes directly to the variables as well. For example, now this month, along with the rent, you have to pay a fine of 700 rupees as well. So your new rent would be whatever the value of the rent was plus your fine, that is 700 rupees. So for example, the early on your rent was 1700, then you updated the rent to 2000. Now you need to include the fine as well. So to include the fine right over here, you want to write rent is equals to rent plus 700. Okay, because rent is on the right hand side and it contains the value present inside the variable. We have already discussed it yesterday. So the value inside the variable right now is 2000. So the value of new rent would be 2700. So I'm running this particular line of code right over here. You will be able to see that we are getting 2700 as your answer. Okay. Now let's come back to the second thing. Like I said again, yesterday as well, we had learned about Python trying to make things as small as possible. Okay, so one of the things that Python is involved in is making your code as simple as possible to read as well as to write as well. So what we are going to do right now is we are going to use another increment assignment operations. Okay, so this is the particular operation that we are going to use, is the exact same thing. Okay, plus is equals to. Okay, so right over here you can directly, so this, the meaning of this particular line is rent is equals to rent plus 700. Okay, what you're doing right over here is you are you are incrementing the value of the variable rent by the value present on the right, that is 700. Okay, you are increasing the value of the variable rent by 700. Okay, so this is how you are going to use it right over here. Okay, so this is doing the exact same thing as this. Okay, we are writing it right over here. As you are able to see, if I am running this, you are able to see 2700 being printed out. But what is this? Why is this particular line not getting run by Python? Why is this not executed by Python? Okay, the reason behind this is that this is called as a comment. Okay, this is called as a comment in Python. Now, what is comment? Okay, what is comment in Python? Basically, in any programming language, comments exist. Comments are basically non-code. Okay, not a piece of code. Okay, it's a non-code that is just English for your documentation, for your reference. So everything after a hash is considered as a comment itself. Okay, and that comment is not a code. Okay, Python will the compiler of Python will directly ignore this particular piece of text. Okay, Python will directly ignore this particular piece of text and move out to the next line of code. Okay, so that is the basic use of comments. It's basically to understand what you're doing. So for example, right over here, the meaning of this particular line of code is this, so I'm writing a comment just to make sure that anyone else who is not familiar with this is able to understand the same. Okay, okay, great. So we can actually use this plus is equals to operation to tell Python that we are incrementing the value on the left by the value on the right. Okay, now you can have like minus is equals to, okay, that will be the same as rent is equals to rent minus 700. You can have star is equals to, that would be equal to rent is equals to rent multiplied by 700. You can have a division equal to, that will be the equivalent of rent is equal to rent divided by 700, and so on and so forth. So there is a lot many things that you can do right over here. So instead of writing this entire line of code, you can just write it as rent divided by equal to 700. Okay, okay, great. All of these operators just apply arithmetic operations to the variables on the left with the value on the right, which makes your code more concise and easy to read and understand. Okay, so that is the basic role of why we are using the incrementation operations or the other operators as well. Okay, okay. Integers and floats. So first, let's try to understand data types in Python. Okay, so now let's try to understand this. The items that you're storing, the values that you're storing or containing in Python. So we have already seen some of these values. For example, this is a particular number right over here. Now when I'm writing rent divided by equal to 700, you are easily able to see that we are getting a number that isn't quite an integer. So although this is an integer, this number isn't quite an integer. This has some decimal points as well. Then you have already seen some other data types as well. So for example, this is something that is not an integer, not a decimal. This is a particular characters. This is a particular string of characters attached together. So there are different data that is currently present in the Python language itself, and each of these data have their own data types. Okay, think about it as, for example, this is a rectangle. Okay, this is a particular square. square, this is a particular let's say triangle, and so on and so forth. So each of these data is an individual, has an individual shape and an individual property associated with each of them. So that is the reason why these data are also classified in Python into various categories, and each of these are called as data types in Python. Okay. Now, one of the first data types that we are going to study about are integers and floats. So far, the numbers that we have dealt with are mostly whole numbers or integers. Like I said, 1700, 2700, all these are integers itself that we are able to see. But we have also noticed other type of numbers do exist. For example, dividing one integer, that is 2000, by another integer, that is 700, results in an answer that isn't quite an integer. This is a decimal value, or in Python also called as a floating point number, or in short a float. Okay. Okay. So right over here, for example, if I'm having print 3 divided by 2 right over here, I'm running this particular line of code, you are able to see that we are getting 1.5 as an answer, even if it divides it properly as well. So for example, let's see 4 divided by 2, it will also give us a number that is a floating point number. Although 4 is an integer, 2 is an integer, 2 divides float absolutely perfectly, but still if you are dividing 4 by 2, you are getting 2.0, which is a decimal point value or a floating number. Okay. Numbers with decimal points such as 3.14 are called as floating point numbers, or in short floats. Okay. 3 and 2 will be called as integer numbers or int. Okay. Note that even though the value 42 is an integer, the value 42 is an integer, the value 42.0 would be a floating point number. And if two integers are divided, then also we get float as an answer. We have already seen that. Okay. We can check the data type of any object in Python using the built-in function called as type. So for example, right over here, we are having a variable a is equals to 3 and a variable b is equals to 2.5. So if we type in, if we want to check the value data type of a particular object in Python, like we want to check the data type of a and b in Python, we just have to write print type of a and then print type of b. Type is a built-in function in Python that returns the data type of an object. Okay, so as you are able to see, a is an int data type and b is a float data type. Okay, that is being printed on your screen right now. Are you guys able to see this? Please let me know. Are you guys able to understand everything up till this particular point of time? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand up till this particular point of time? Please let me know. Some of the previous students I am able to see right now. Guys, you are 160 people live with us right now. So if you are there live and you are listening to me correctly, please write yes so that I'm able to identify whether you guys are able to understand or not. Okay, great. So an operation involving an int and a float will always give a float as an output. So for example, if you are doing a subtraction, multiplication, division, addition between an int and a float, you will always get the answer as float. Okay. So whenever you want to check the data type of an object in Python, okay, you just write type and then in parenthesis the object that you want to check the data type of. So type will represent the data type of that particular object. That is right over here. The data type of A is int, okay, and the data type of float is float, like B is float, okay, okay. So right over here, we can also convert one data type to another by constructing new objects of those type with int and floats. So basically what I'm trying to say is you can convert an int to a float and a float to an int. Okay. So for example, if you're trying to convert integer to a float, it is nothing else but to add 0.0 to it. For example, if you want to convert an integer that is 3 to a float, okay, the conversion would act as 3.0. Whereas if you want to convert a float to an int, for example, right over here, you want to convert a float 28.9 to an int, then that result would be 28. Okay, it does not matter if it is 28.1, if it is 28.4, if it is 28.5, 28.9, it does not matter. It will always convert it into 28. Similarly, if you are converting an integer like 3 to a float, then it will just become 3.0. Let's see that in action right over here. Okay, so you are having a is equals to float 3. So 3 is an integer, you want to convert it into float right over here. So you can directly like float and then whatever you want to convert, and then you are having b is equals to int and you want to convert 28.9 to an integer. So as you are able to see, the answer would be 3.0 and 28. Okay, are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know. Are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know, guys. Okay, great. So this is a very important point that is nowadays asked a lot in interviews, and you won't find this particular point anywhere in any particular course. This is something that if you go through a book only, then you will be able to understand this particular point. Okay. Another point that you need to keep in mind is that float are an approximation to the number they represent. Okay, so float can represent a very large range of numbers. So as you are able to see, like that 3.0 is one of the numbers that it can represent, and it can even represent up till 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 decimal points. So you are easily able to understand that float take up a lot, a huge range of numbers that float can represent. As float represents a very large and a very large range of numbers, Python must use approximation to represent these numbers. For example, if you are having a floating point number 0.23, okay, in the memory it is stored slightly more than 0.23. So in the memory, instead of storing anything as 0.23, Python will be storing it as 0.2300000123, something like that, a little bit greater than 0.23. Why is that the case? To make sure that it is able to maintain the precision of that particular number. For example, if you are dividing that number by something, or you are multiplying it by something, or you are adding something to it, it is able to maintain the number of decimal points up till 15 decimal points. It is able to show you the answer. So that is the reason why it is stored a bit greater than 0.23 to maintain the precision of the number, because right over here it has only 2 decimal points and Python can go up till 15 decimal points. Okay, so that is the reason why it is stored a slightly more than 0.23. Now we can even check whether this is true or not. Okay, although we cannot print it, but we can check whether this is true or not. So let's see. What we are going to do right now is we are having 0.23 right over here. We are going to add 0.23 30 times. Okay, you can even calculate it. So you are having 1 2 3 4 5 6 and then 1 2 3 4 5. So that is 30. 0.23. If you're adding 0.23 30 times, it should be equivalent to 6.9. Okay, it should be equivalent to 6.9. But when you are adding 0.23 30 times, you will be able to see. So this is a operation that basically checks the equality between the left hand side and the right hand side. If the left hand side is equal to the right hand side, then it will print true. If it is not equal to the right hand side, it will print false. So let's run this particular line of code, and as you are able to see, we are getting false as our answer. That is, the left hand side is not equal to the right hand side. Why is this happening? You need to understand that in the memory 0.23 is saved like 0.230000000123, something like that. Now when you are adding, so Python is not that smart to be able to understand that 0.23 is the exact same number as the next number that you are going to add to it. Okay, so Python thinks that to maintain the precision, I will add the precision numbers as well. Okay, that is after 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, I will add both the 1, 2, 3 together to form 0, 0, 0, 0, 2, 4, 6. So it would be something like 0.4600000246. So it is getting increased slowly and steadily. So after some time, after adding some of these 0.23, there will come a time when that precision number, when that precision decimal is so big that Python cannot ignore it. It will become so huge that Python cannot ignore that ending trails of numbers as well. Okay, so that is the reason why this is happening. Now if I replace this by multiplication by 30, okay, 0.23 multiplied by 30, you will see that the answer would be true. As you're able to see, the answer would be true. Why is that the case? Because here Python is able to provide an optimization. When you are writing 0.23 into 30, Python knows that multiplication means adding the same number again and again. So Python adds the number, removes the decimal point. So for example, 0.23 added 2 times is 0.4600000246. It will remove the decimal points and then again put 0.4600000123 and then continue adding right over there. So for multiplication, because it knows that there is an optimization I can put up right over here, it is able to remove those lines as well. Okay, the video is not lagging from my end. I think so it's from your end itself. Okay, why 30 times? Do we have to add a lot of times to verify? See, we need to add that. So 30 times is basically what I have done to make sure that it works every single time. But depending upon the computer that you are having, it will be different. Okay, now it will only show false. Okay, if and only if the number of times that you are added 0.23 is significant enough that the, because these are like after 15 decimal points, these numbers are like plus after 12 or after 11 decimal points that number exists. Okay, so it's an extremely small value. So adding it more number of times, make sure that that number gets bigger every single time. So that makes it a foolproof that it will always work. That is why I've added it 30 times. Okay, is my video lagging for everyone? Please let me know. Is my video lagging for everyone? Please let me know, guys. Okay, so right now it's totally fine. Am I right? There's no issues with the video right now. I think so. Right now there should be no issues with the video itself. Okay, great. Okay. So are you guys able to understand this concept? Please let me know. Are you guys able to understand this concept? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this concept? Please let me know. Okay, great. So just remember this, that floating point numbers are an approximation to the number they represent. They are not the exact number. It's an approximation to the number they represent. And usually, not always, but usually it is stored a little bit greater than the number it represents. Okay, great. So let's move on to the next data type, that is Boolean data type comparison and logical operators. Okay, so this is also something that you have already studied, okay, in your 11th and 12th standard in physics. That too, I'm saying it right now itself, that you have already studied this in your 11th and 12th standard in physics. So it will be extremely easy for you to understand. Boolean is another data type that is commonly used in Python. Bool is the short form for Boolean, just like you are having int for integer, float for floating point number. Similarly, bool for Boolean values, which can have a value of either true or false. In integers, you can have value like 1, 2, 3, 4. In floating point number, you can have values like 2.56 or 3.14 or something like that. In bool, you can have only two values, that is either true or false. Okay. A Boolean algebra is the branch of algebra in which the values of the variable are truth values, that is true or false. Boolean algebra uses the framework on which all the electronic devices work, build, and fundamentally exist in every line of code inside the computer. Okay, so we have already seen these Boolean values. If you remember, in Python you have learned about AND gate, OR gate, NOR gate, XOR gate. Then you have learned about ones and zeros. So just replace those ones by true and replace those zeros by false, and you have learned the entire Boolean data type. Okay, that is the exact same thing. For example, right over here in Python, when you want to create a Boolean data type, you just have to write the name of the variable is equals to, and then the first letter for T should be capital in true and F should be capital in false, and that is how you write true and false in Python. Okay. We can use comparison operators to compare two values and produce Boolean results. For example, you are having A is equals to 3 greater than 1. Okay. Ranjay, if you ask one more time for the attendance, I will remove you from the entire boot camp. I don't want any menace while I'm teaching. Okay. So if you ask one more time for the attendance, I will remove you from the boot camp, and I will make sure that you are not getting any certificates via us or even our friends at Google and Microsoft. I'll make sure about that. Okay. Please stop disturbing the other students. You're not here to learn. Get the fuck out of here. A is equals to 3 greater than 1. Okay, is 3 greater than 1? Yes, 3 is greater than 1. So this particular statement is true, that 3 as a value is greater than 1. So that value would be replaced. This entire thing would be replaced by true right over here. Okay, so A is equals to true. And then we are going to print A. So right over here, as you are able to see, we are getting true as a value right now. Okay, so moving further, as 3 is greater than 1, so printing, so there is a lot many number of operations that you are having. So 3 greater than 1, as you are able to see, we are getting true printed out. You can have 3 greater than equal to 1. You can check whether 3 is greater than or equal to 1. You can have 3 is equals to 1. Okay, is 3 equal to 1 or not? So that would be false, as you are able to see. Is 3 less than equal to 1? Is 3 less than 1? Is 3 not equal to 1? Okay, so yes, 3 is not equal to 1, so that would be true. So these are all the different like comparison operators that exist right over here. Okay, as you will see that the function of all these comparison operations are evident from their name itself, that these are less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, or not equal to. Okay, so working with Boolean has its own set of operations called as logical operators. Right now we had already looked at comparison operators. Now we are going to look at logical operators. These operators are very useful while working with Boolean values and evaluates if both the sides are true or false or these type of things. So these are basically your gates that you have studied in Python. Okay, so that would be your AND gate, your OR gate, your NOR gate, your XOR gate, and so on and so forth. So right over here, for example, you are having your AND gate. Okay, so you are having is affordable. Okay, so rent greater than 1000. So rent is 1200. So yes, rent is greater than 1000. So this will be replaced by true. Okay, that is the comparison operator that we had seen right now. Next, you are having rent is less than 2000. So if rent is less than 2000, yes, length is 1200, it is less than 2000. So you will be having it will be replaced by the value of true. Okay, we have seen the comparison operator, so again this is also true. So you're having true and true on both the sides. Okay, it's having true as well as true on both the sides. So can you guys let me know what will be the answer for that? If it's 1 and 1, so what will be the answer? Can someone let me know, please? Can someone let me know if it's 1 and 1, what would be the answer? Exactly. If it's 1 and 1, it would be always 1. So that will be, the answer would be true. Okay. So we'll replace this entire thing by true, and that would be the answer that will be stored inside the variable itself. So let's check whether we were right or wrong. So when we are running this particular line of code, we should get true as an answer. So our hypothesis was the exact correct thing. Okay. Similarly, right over here, this is the exact same thing as above. So this entire thing would be replaced by true that we have already seen above. So what will be not true? Okay, what is not true? Not is also a gate in physics, if you remember. So if you're having not one, what will be the answer, guys? If you're having not one, what will be the answer, guys? Please let me know. Exactly, the answer would be false or zero. So is affordable would be false right over here. So let's check if we are correct there as well. Let's run this line of code, and as you're able to see, we are getting false as our answer. So that is basically a short description about your Boolean data type, your comparison operators, as well as your logical operators. Are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know. Are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know. If you guys are able to understand, please let me know, guys. Great, amazing, amazing, amazing. So let's move on to the next particular data type, strings. So the hello world that we had written, the Python 7 and all those things that we have written early on, that were examples of strings. Strings is basically a string of characters, a string of different characters attached together is basically a data type called as string. So Python has another data type in its toolkit called as strings, and the short form for that is str. Just like bool is short form for boolean, int for integers, float for floating point number. Similarly for strings, it is str. As the name suggests that this data type deals with characters, words, and text. String is immutable order of sequences of characters. So what does immutable order sequence of characters means? We will be learning about it like in 1 or 2 days, not right now, because right now you won't be able to understand it. Okay, it will just go through your head. Once we'll be starting off with lists in Python, we will try to understand what does immutable ordered sequence of characters means. Right now just think about it as a string of characters. Okay, you can just, but remember that strings is immutable ordered sequence. Just remember this. Okay, we are going to learn about it at a later point of time, don't worry about it. We can create strings by using quotations. Okay, we can have quotations as double quotations as well as single quotations as well. Right over here we have created a particular string using double quotations as well as single quotations, and both are absolutely correct. There is no difference between the same. Both will print the same output to your screens. Okay, okay. In this example, we printed the word shape AI using single and double quotations and got the same output. We can also assign a string to a variable just like float and int. So we are having a variable motto and we have assigned a particular string to it. Now a string can contain spaces, a string can contain special characters, a string can contain numbers, a string can have small characters, capital characters, anything inside of it. Okay, so that is the best part with strings, it can contain anything inside of it. Okay, now strings are in Python are shown by the variable type str, that is the short form for that. So type motto, okay, we have already studied about type. That basically shows the data type of the object motto. Motto is the variable that we have created right over here. So as you are able to see, the type of motto is str, okay. Strings can contain any characters, numbers, spaces within the quotes. But if we want to contain quotation marks inside the string, we get an error. Okay. For example, right over here, I've created a variable called as dialogue. So dialogue basically starts off with a double quotation mark. Now what happens is we want to include another double quotation mark inside the string itself. But if we are running this particular line of code, as you're able to see, Python gives out a syntax error, that there is some grammatical error that you're making right over here. What is happening is you are starting off with a double quotation mark. You're going through the particular stuff. You're going further. Python finds another double quotation marks, and it thinks that this is the end. Okay, this is the end of this particular string. It has found the starting and the end of this particular string. Whatever you have written after that, it is basically something that it is not able to understand. It is something gibberish. Then again you are having a double quotation mark. It thinks about starting a string and it closes an empty string right over here. Now to deal with it as well, you are having two different solutions. Okay, so the first solution is, if you want to contain a double quotation mark inside a string, start with a single quotation mark. For example, right over here, you wanted to have a double quotation mark inside the string. So you can start off with a single quotation mark itself. Now what will happen is Python will try to find another single quotation mark to close the string. It will go further, 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 further. This is a double quotation mark. So Python has not found a single quotation mark. It will continue to scan further until unless it finds a another single quotation mark, and then it will end the string right over there. This is one of the things that you can do. But again, the problem would be if you want to have another single quotation mark inside the string, then again you will get an error. Okay, so to deal with that, you are having escape sequences in Python. Okay, you're having escape characters or escape sequences in Python. Okay, so for example, if you want to tell Python to ignore a particular character, to ignore a particular quotation mark, you can directly put a backslash in front of it. So for example, right over here, you are starting off with a single quotation mark. Python will try to find another quotation mark and it reaches here. Now you are basically putting a backslash in front of it, telling Python that the next character has no special value. It is illogical. It has no special value. You can ignore it and move further. So what will this is called as escape character or escape sequence. So it basically escapes that particular character and continues to scan further to find the single quotation mark. So if you are running this right over here, you are able to see that Shiva, your bag is red. The backslash don't even get printed out because it is basically used to escape the next character. Okay, so it has some special meaning in Python. That is why it is not getting printed out. Okay, as you are able to see right over here. So this is what you can do if you want to contain quotation marks inside your string. Okay. Okay. Are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know. Okay, great. Amazing, guys. You guys are so smart, man. Like, I've got good students this time. Okay, great. So the next thing is concatenation. For example, you can use the addition symbol in numbers as integers and floats as an arithmetic operator. Okay, it adds the basic two numbers together. Similarly, you can use the addition symbol in strings as well, but not for arithmetics. You can use it for concatenation. Okay, that is joining two characters together. Joining two characters together is called as, two strings together is called as concatenation. So for example, if I want to join hello, that is the first string, and world as a second string together, I just have to write a plus symbol between them and will concatenate them together into a single string called as hello world. If I want to put a space in between, then I can just write hello, then adding it up concatenating it up with a space, and then concatenating it up with a word. Okay, so it will make a particular string, a single string called as hello space word. Okay, as you're able to see right over here, this is how it works. Okay, now another thing that you need to know is what is multiplication. Okay, multiplication is nothing else but addition itself at the end of the day. So if I'm writing word into 5, word into 5, if I'm doing word into 5, that means I'm writing word plus word plus word plus word plus word 5 times. So it will print hello 5 times appended together, concatenated together. So these are the two operators, addition and multiplication are the two operators that are being used with strings. You cannot use subtraction, you cannot use division on strings. Okay, for example, if you try to do that, okay, if you try to use division or subtraction on strings, it will give you a type error saying that unsupported operands for division, str and str. That is, you cannot divide a string by a string. Okay, right over here as well, if you do subtraction, you will end up with the same error. So the only thing that you can do is addition, that will cause concatenation, and multiplication, that will cause that number of time it will concatenate the strings together. Okay, are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know. Yes, this only works with strings. Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. Why is concatenation important if I can directly print? That's a great question, Nabil Eli. What happens basically is, for example, you're taking an input from the user. You already have his first name and his last name saved somewhere in the database. Okay, so what is better, to take that first name and last name from the database, append them together and show the name of Hi Shaurya Sinha, or again ask the user every time he comes to your website to write your name once again? It's better to append it directly, taking it directly from the database, appending it together and showcasing the name of that particular user. So that's why you are using concatenation. Okay. Oh, I'm getting some stomach ache. Okay, so another useful function for strings is basically in strings data type is the length function. The length function basically returns the number of characters present in a particular string. Okay, for example, or the length of a particular string, number of characters or the length of a particular string. For example, the length of the string shape AI, SHAPEAI, would be 7 because there are 7 characters present in shape AI. So length of shape AI would be 7. Now the same with DevTown would be DEVTOWN, that is again 7. Okay, so it will again print 7. Even if you are having a space in the middle, now the space is also a character. Okay, the space is also a character, so you will be getting 8 as your answer. Okay, so right now you will be getting the length as 8. Okay, so that is the use of length, that is to get the number of characters present in a particular string. Okay. Okay, let's move on to type and type conversion. So we have already looked at type early on, and we have looked at some of the type conversion as well, converting int to float and float to int. Now, right over here, I've represented 75, the value 75 as an integer, then as a float, and then as a string as well. Okay, and the last one is true. So to check the type of every single one, you are easily able to see that we are having int, float, string, and bool right over here. Okay. And we have already seen how to convert an integer to a float and a float to an int as well, as you are able to see from right over here. We have converted a float to an integer. Okay, so it's extremely simple right over here. Again, we have already seen this as well. For example, like I said, you can only append two strings together. You can only concatenate two strings together. You cannot concatenate an integer to a string, or a string to an integer, or a float to a string, or a string to a float. You cannot do that. Okay, so for example, you are having marks equals to 15, that is a integer itself, and then you're having subject as coding a string, and semester as first, again a string. So if you want to concatenate a string to an integer itself, you will first have to convert you will have to convert that integer to a string. So again, just like we have converted a integer to a float, so we just have to write str, and then you have to put up the object that you want to convert to string, that is marks, and it will convert marks to a string. Okay, that is 15 in quotation marks, and then you can concatenate them properly. So it will give you the answer as I scored 15 in coding during my first semester. Okay, are you guys able to understand right over here? Please let me know. सर इंटीजर में आपने बाइट ऑक्टा हेक्सा नहीं बताया. The only things that I'm teaching in Python right now, because we don't have like so Python, learning Python will take you almost 30 days. Okay, completely learning Python. So I'm only teaching you only that much portion of Python that is used for your project. Okay, whatever concepts, whatever basics that you know to like make the project itself, that is the only part that I'm trying to communicate it to you right now, because we only have 7 days to learn. Okay, concatenate means to add or to append or to attach two strings together. Okay, why did you do str marks? Please elaborate. So you are trying to concatenate us. So if I'm removing this from right over here, if I'm removing this from right over here, trying to run this, it will show me an error. Okay, that error will basically tell that you can only concatenate string and not int to a string. That is, you cannot concatenate an int directly to a string. So I need to convert it. I need to convert the type from a particular integer to a string, so that we have already learned, like we had converted an int to a float as well. So to convert it into a float, we used to write float float right over here, and that will get converted to float. Similarly, to get converted into string, we just need to write str. Now marks will be converted to string, and then we can do the concatenation on it. I hope, Dhruv, you are able to understand this right now. The same way, we can have a particular string and we can convert it into a float as well. So print marks. Okay, as you're able to see, we are having a marks as a particular string, and we can convert it to a float as well. So marks equals to 15, we can convert it into a float, and we will be able to have the value 15.0 right over here. So these are all the type conversions that you need to know. Okay, are you guys? So we are having some questions for you right over here, some assignments as well. Try to complete that assignments if you get the time. Okay, on your own, you don't need to submit it or something. It will be helpful for you guys itself at the end of the day. Okay, one important string method format. Okay, so how much is left? Let us see. List and membership operators, mutability and order. Then we are having join, tuples, dictionaries. I think so tomorrow we will be extending the class for a few minutes more, but we will be able to complete it. Okay, no issues in that. So for today's attendance, okay, I have made this attendance form for you guys. I have a question right over here. If you want, so for example, we have started a new thing. Many students asked me if they could call me personally, and I could basically guide them, because most of you are in your first, second, and third year. And in live sessions on YouTube, I'm not able to understand your problems, or what kind of like what are you currently doing, and you need some guidance as well. So if you guys are interested, okay, then in that particular like in that particular sense, you can just fill this particular question up on your attendance sheet today. Provide me some information about yourself. Which college are you from? Which year are you from? What are you currently studying? What is your aim at the end of the day? And if you want, only in that case, just write this particular portion. Let me know about yourself. And if I get some time, okay, then I will surely call you up and talk to you. And I will try to help you guys out and provide guidance as well, because there's not a lot many number of students right now with us, so I can try to do this. Of course, I would not be able to reach out to every single one of you, and I think so not everyone would be interested to just get guidance as well, but no issues in that. If you are interested, do fill it up. Otherwise, if you're not, you can just write no and just move on with it. Okay, you don't have to worry. You have 1 hour to fill the attendance form up. I'm showing you the attendance link right now. So this is the attendance link, as you are able to see. Okay, so this is the attendance link, and I will be showing you again. This is a YouTube video. You can just scroll back and watch it again. Let's go to Google. In the meanwhile, guys, please like the video. There are almost 220 people right now live with us, and we are at, I don't think so how many likes, like 75 likes right now. So please try to take that number to at least 150. Okay, 150, 180. Okay, so please take the likes a little bit up. I would really appreciate that. Again, like I said, it helps us to build the community and reach out to more companies to be able to provide you guys with certificates. So please do like the video. It will take a minute or so. Okay, don't hesitate for that. It's for your own good at the end of the time itself. Okay, so QR code generator. Day 2. Load. So this is the QR code for today. Again, please do like the video. Okay, and this will be the QR code for today. Dhruv, just go to the day 1 video that we have on YouTube, and in the description of the video you will be able to find the link to the notebook. Okay, Kushi, if you don't have a scanner with you, that is, if you don't have a phone that has a camera with you, okay, you just have a laptop, no issues in that. What you can do is, I've already showed you the attendance link as well. You can type that out. Please make sure that the capital letters, capital letter, the small letters, capital small letter, the numbers are numbers. Okay, please make sure of that. Please like the video, guys, as well. Okay, we are at 134 likes. Try to take it up to 150. Fill the attendance form on time, guys. Okay, and we'll meet tomorrow once again at 6, and we'll continue from right over there. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Please, sorry, at 7. I'm very sorry. We'll meet tomorrow at 7, and we'll continue from right over there. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I had a great time with you. I hope that you guys will be on time tomorrow as well. And we'll continue from right over there. Also, again, please do like the video. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.